What's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy Ntcdanzel, man. Back with another video for y'all boys, man. We finna react to famous TikTok girl kills her mom in court, and then laughs in court. Hit that subscribe button, man. Follow my Instagram. Let's get right.
Covered in blood. It was worse than any horror movie ever made. 18-year-old Isabella murdered her mother in cold blood. The internet found the news shocking, but the people who knew her weren't as surprised. You see, Isabella had a dark history of mental illness, abuse, and red flags that led people to think the murder could have been prevented. But was that in fact possible?
That's why I'm like, so you're telling me that people around her knew that she had little problems and shit, and nobody decided to get her some help or check on her or...
What led Isabella to do the absolute worst? And has she changed today?
I'm not mentally ill anymore. I'm not a danger to myself or others.
This is the full story of Isabella Guzman. Today's story begins in a very small place called Aurora, Colorado. Colorado is a stunning place, and its rural towns are closer to the natural splendor it's famous for. Needless to say, it attracts a lot of outdoorsy types as well as young families, such as the case of the Guzman family. Isabella Guzman was born on June 9, 1995 to Robert Guzman and Yun Mi Hoy. When she was 7, her parents broke up, but she went on to grow up with both of them. They were civil, spent lots of time together, and even had a photography studio together, which they continued to work at after their separation. However, Yun Mi moved on with her romantic life and got remarried to a man named Ryan Hoy. Isabella didn't like this one bit. She kept telling her mom that she was doing a bad job at replacing her actual dad. Yun Mi had to explain to her that Ryan...
Hold on, pause, little girl. Don't do no shit like that, little girl. You can't, this is grown folks' business, alright? You don't get yourself into grown folks' business, alright? You stay in a child's place and you could have kept doing your little TikToks. You know what I mean? Mind you goddamn business.
Was not a replacement dad, just her new partner. Yun Mi was still working at the photography studio with her ex-husband, but all three adults in Isabella's...
I'm a mom. I'm not explaining none of that shit. I'm like, little bitch, mind your business. Mind your fucking business. It doesn't concern you who I date, alright? One that man not putting his hands on you, touching you, none of that. But don't worry about who I date.
Life struggled financially. Taking Isabella on vacations or buying her new clothes was off the table. So growing up, Isabella felt...
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can do what...
increasingly isolated from her schoolmates. Investigators looked into Isabella's childhood, and it painted a pretty dark picture. She would never smile, play, or spend time with her parents. Isabella was visibly unhappy to all those who knew her, young or old. However, they never understood Isabella's resentment toward her mother. Yun Mi was working 12-hour shifts to make enough money for her daughter, but Isabella had always hated her mother. After Robert left home when she was 7, Isabella had frequent arguments with Yun Mi. After a few years, it got so bad that Yun Mi sent Isabella to live with Robert, hoping the two of them would get on better. But it wasn't much different with Robert either. By the time she was a teenager, Isabella had been passed on between her parents several times. Guys, that doesn't sound like parenting 101 to me. Then Isabella started making it clear that she didn't want them. She was only 10 when she started refusing their invitation to go to the photography studio with them. Isabella's school situation wasn't great either. Her grades weren't catastrophic, but she would constantly get into trouble, talk back to teachers, and felt unwelcome. When she was 18, just weeks before her final exams...
That's why as a parent, bro, that's why you need to... The type of job you got, the type of shit you got going on, you gotta give your kids time, bro. You gotta put that time into your kids, bro. Because if you don't get them that time, bro, shit like that happen, bro. They feel like they're being neglected from everything and all that, people not fucking with them. To me, at least if I go to school and niggas not fucking with me, I at least want to come home with my parents and shit. Like, but her ass didn't even fuck with them either. So her ass really just had problems. Really. But the parents should have did a little better job though and watching her a little bit more and shit like shit. And they have all these red flags. They got all these red flags and shit.
This generated a brand new fight with her parents. Isabella didn't want to hear any of that. After throwing a few nasty words at her parents, she shut down and they assumed the fight was over. But a few weeks later, Isabella would do the unthinkable.
Isabella Guzman. She's accused of... her mother 79 times.
With breaking news in Aurora, on her suspect in a deadly stabbing overnight. A woman was found dead in a home on South Lima Street.
In the late hours of August 28th, Isabella waited for young Mi to go to the bathroom to have a shower. There, she ambushed her with a large kitchen knife. Ryan heard the blood-chilling screams of his wife and hurried upstairs, but Isabella had locked the door. Ryan literally watched as young Mi's blood oozed through the bathroom door into the hallway. Then his stepdaughter unlocked the door and came out with a knife in her hand, staring right into his eyes. She climbed down the stairs, opened the front door, and disappeared into the night. Poor Ryan tried to perform CPR on his wife as blood was spewing out of her, but it was too late. Within minutes, the police were at the family's house.
The female is going to be armed with a knife. She's an 18-year-old female, says mixed race. I think it might be with Asian. She's wearing a pink tank top, shorts.
Young Mi was pronounced dead at the scene. All 79 stab wounds were to her head and her neck. Her daughter had almost cut her throat off. There was also a baseball bat in the bathroom, and the police concluded Isabella had also beaten her mom with it before or after stabbing her. By the time everyone got to the house, Isabella was already gone, together with her knife.
When we first got here just after 10 o'clock last night, we talked with police. They said they were waiting on a search warrant before they could go inside. When I got here at 4 o'clock this morning, I did see a few...
This bitch done stabbed her mom 79 times. Y'all ain't waiting for a search warrant? Search warrant to go in my house. Yeah, man.
Officers are coming in and out, so it looks like the investigation has started. I'm going to step out real quickly for you, show you what's happening here. This is the house in question. This White House here, you can see the yellow tape blocking off, and they've also got the road blocked off as well, and you can see several squad cars still in the road here.
Finding Isabella was urgent. She could have been in a psychotic state, which meant she could kill other people too. The Aurora police asked for help of the Denver police, who came with a helicopter to search for Isabella. But it was local people who spotted Isabella in a parking garage less than half a mile away from her home the next day. And a witness called the police saying they'd recognized her from the news.
So just to give you a little bit more about the arrest, now cops say that when they got the call to go to the parking garage about a body, they went to the car, no one was inside. They bring out a canine, they start to do a search of the garage. Now cops believe that the teen girl saw this coming, saw the canine doing a search, and actually tried to leave and escape and walk out of the garage, but officers were able to recognize her and take her into custody.
She was arrested on the spot. Shockingly, she still thought she could get away with murder, even with her shirt covered in her mother's blood. Isabella Guzman was charged with first-degree...
Bro, she's clearly not straight in the head. Like, it's 100% proven that she's not straight in the head. Because if she was straight in the head, I don't think she would have the bloody t-shirt and this in a fucking parking lot. I mean, shorty not right in the head. Her family should have given her more time. Not gonna lie. For me. Because as a mother or father, I'm pretty sure you can see certain signs from your daughter and certain things if you're really there. So, my mother had to work though too. So, can't really blame the parents either. She's just a crazy bitch. That's it. I'm sorry. She's just a crazy bitch. Put the bitch in jail.
Murder. And as she had already turned 18 a few months back, she could be tried as an adult.
She could, nigga. She's an adult.
Harshest penalty for a person who had killed her own mother in such a
slaying
gruesome
us.
way.
Just the whole thought of leaving your mother.
I'll be slaying the shit out of her. Talking about something she can be tried as an adult. Bitch, that her mother 79 times, bitch.
Your mother, the thought of that, I can't even think about it.
Oh, nah, bro, that's crazy. Your mother?
I'm absolutely physically
The
repelled.
first step was over. Isabella was in
She got you
jail
for 9
and she
months
couldn't
and you
harm
stabbed her
anyone
79 times?
anymore. The second step was harder. Now the police had to
She got death
understand
penalty.
Isabella's background and what led her down the darkest path a daughter could go. As the detectives spoke to Ryan,
She should have got a death penalty. Because stabbing somebody, bro, that's crazier than shooting somebody. Because when you close up, you really doing this shit close up, and you gotta go in and out. Like, I really gotta go in and out, bro. She should have got death penalty. And y'all talking about she could be tried as an adult.
And about the months leading up to the murder, they uncovered a story even darker than that of Isabella's constant misbehavior. After she dropped out of school, her fights with Yeonmi escalated to an unprecedented level. There were tantrums and fits of rage every single day, and her disrespect toward her mother was shocking even to Ryan, who had known Isabella for so many years. On August 27th, Isabella yelled at her mom and spit on her face. Yes, spit on her. Then Isabella wrote her mom an email saying simply, "You will pay."
It's going to be very difficult for defense attorneys to argue, oh, this was heat of passion, because she wrote her mother hours ahead of time.
I don't care what nobody say. I like my black folks because a black parent would whoop that ass a long time ago. These white folks be letting their kids do whatever. They don't be getting no fucks. How the kid talk. Timmy, go to your room. That's all they get. So black folk now, the ass would have got whooped. You would have went in the shower, came back out, thought everything was sweet. And then you would have got that ass whooped. They was playing with her, bro. They was playing with her.
You will pay for this. You will pay. And the mother was so...
Enlisted is the free, brand new online World War II shooter. Command a squad of soldiers and participate in legendary battles of the Second World War.
Afraid that she called police. She called her husband. That she was really afraid.
Indeed, that afternoon, Yeonmi called the police. The police officers arrived at the house and had a chat with Isabella and her parents. The police then asked the parents if they wanted Isabella arrested overnight, but Yeonmi protected her daughter and asked the police to close the case for now. Less than 24 hours later, Yeonmi would be stabbed 79 times by her daughter.
I would have told them, yeah, keep her ass right there for the hour. Keep her ass there for the rest of the night.
The drug or alcohol involvement.
Drugs or alcohol that might alter consciousness. He said the second possibility would be acute psychotic reaction.
That means a reaction based out of stress. And the person kind of loses contact with reality.
According to him, there is no way that Isabella hadn't gone through a traumatic event ever in her childhood.
Now, something happened to this young lady in the past, and it was extraordinarily traumatic and stressful, and that she never got the help she needed. And so it just kind of all spilled out like a volcano.
What happened to her past? Her mom and her dad decided to split up, and ever since they decided to split up, she went on they started doing this shit, bro. So your parents splitting up, you started going crazy after that, bro? Come on, bro. This man making excuses.
All at that moment, and that rage was focused on her mother.
As more experts analyzed Isabella's past behavior, the running theory was that Isabella was suffering from untreated schizophrenia. She preferred to be by herself rather than with her parents, even at an age when children are dependent on their families. After her constant arguments with her parents would go from 0 to 100 within a minute. Isabella's parents wanted to believe that she would get better. In their eyes, her resentment stemmed from their poverty and inability to afford what other kids her age had. They believed that as she grew up, she would understand their struggles and appreciate them for working hard to make ends meet. But Isabella never really grew up, not in the way they were hoping anyway.
As a parent, bro, don't never in your life think you just going to work and shit and you not spending no time with your daughter or checking on your daughter thinking that you doing something good, bro. Like, you're not doing nothing good at all. Did your parents do that to you? Probably did. But that's not good though.
Mental health issues deepened and deepened throughout her teenage years until she reached a breaking point.
But when it gets to the point where you as the parent or caregiver are so afraid you are locking your doors, you need to call the police, and sometimes, I hate to say it, but oftentimes it means you have to have your child arrested. That sounds cold, I know that. But if you are that afraid and you know your physical safety is at stake here, you have to take drastic measures.
The most drastic measure Isabella's parents took was the call to the police and report physical abuse 1 day before Yeonmi's murder. It's heartbreaking that everyone thought the situation was sorted and it wouldn't repeat.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Lady, you that soft, bro. You got your little ass daughter playing with you like that, though. Like, you that soft, bro. Like, y'all white people need to get right. Y'all ain't to get right, bro. Y'all be letting y'all kids do whatever. That's why they be, shit like that be happening. That shit pissing me off.
before the worst happened. That evening, the police officers agreed not to arrest Isabella if her parents were content with letting her stay under their roof. But this event happened so close to the murder, investigators even wondered if it wasn't the catalyst for the murder itself.
That certainly could have been a catalyst. It could have been something that made Isabella even more angry than she probably already was. But we don't know what that conversation was between law enforcement, her mother, and Isabella. And not unlike domestic violence cases, when the police come to the door and they say to the wife or to the husband, we'll make the arrest, oftentimes the other loved one says, well, maybe it's not so bad. So we don't know yet what took place in that conversation.
As Isabella told the cops, the moment she decided she was going to kill Yeonmi, Isabella was convinced this wasn't her mom, but a woman named Cecilia. Voices in her head had told her Cecilia had to die if she was to save the world. If this is true, and not just Isabella's desperate attempt to shift the blame, then she truly was suffering from untreated schizophrenia. When Isabella started talking, another dimension of her family came to light. Yeonmi and Ryan were Jehovah's Witnesses. This is a branch of Christianity that is known for its strict rules, and they don't celebrate Christmas or birthdays. According to Isabella, she was abused by her parents throughout her childhood, and their obsession with religion was one of the main sources of their frequent fights.
I was abused at home by my family for many years. My parents are Jehovah's Witnesses. And, I left the religion when I was 14, and the abuse at home worsened after I quit.
While the couple really were Jehovah's Witnesses, no evidence of abuse was found. However, during Isabella's trial, a doctor officially diagnosed her with schizophrenia. Isabella Guzman pleaded innocent by reason.
She was capping. Money an abuser. She was capping, bro. Fuck.
Of insanity. In short, she was so mentally unwell at the time of the murder that she didn't know right from wrong. To everyone's shock, the judge accepted her plea and sentenced her to the Colorado Mental Health Institute at Pueblo. She will be there until doctors decide if she is well enough to leave. According to Isabella, in 2021,
Y'all some fucked up motherfuckers, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Y'all niggas is wild, bro. I ain't even gonna say too much on that too, bro. Y'all niggas is
she is well enough.
I was not myself when I did that, and
then y'all still a little bit smiley.
To full health. The fight with my mom was terrible, and I was injured in the process. I have the scars on my hands. I don't know if you can see or not. I'm not mentally ill anymore. I'm not a danger to myself or others.
During the same interview, Isabella talked about something truly disturbing. At the mental health hospital in 2015, she was sexually assaulted by an employee in a closet.
Asked me if I wanted to go in there and look through to get some clothing, so I did. The other patient left, and he went in there and shut the door behind him.
Isabella even reported this issue to the police, but somehow the case didn't progress, even after this happened twice more.
I was afraid that if I didn't do what he wanted, that he could ruin my life.
Isabella is seeking prosecution as well as working hard to get out of the mental hospital. Meanwhile, something pretty crazy happened on the internet. You know how TikTok can make anything into a trend overnight? Well, 8 years after Isabella killed her mother, you remember Ava Max's song Sweet But Psycho? Yeah, it seemed to go hand in hand with Isabella's sweet but weird face. Ava Max herself was called out on the lyrics of her song. Some people argued she sent the wrong message that it's okay to be a psychopath as long as you're sweet. But when you look at Isabella's weird trial faces, knowing she had untreated schizophrenia, it's no longer funny. Some people thought it was funny that this cute girl was behaving so weirdly at her own trial, or that she'd killed her mother. But others saw the really controversial aspect of it. Some people appreciated her, quote, pretty aesthetic, completely avoiding the topic that she'd stabbed her mother 79 times. That didn't sit well with many others. The biggest issue that people pointed out was that the trend almost made it look like it was okay to be schizophrenic psychopath and kill your mom, as long as you're pretty. Also, making fun of a person with severe mental health issues only adds to the stigma surrounding mental illness. We live in an era where stigmas should slowly disappear, not be reinforced. Eventually, the trend did die down as people on TikTok and Twitter started calling out those who posted Isabella Reels. In June 2021, Isabella was granted permission to leave the hospital for therapy therapy sessions. While it's unclear when or if she will be released for good, she seems to be working hard at getting better, and she regrets killing her mom, despite their lifelong conflict. Thanks for watching.
Man, that's that video, man. Hit that subscribe button, man. Follow my Instagram. That little shorty crazy as hell. Should be in jail, but that's that video. I'm out of here.